I just firmly believe we don't need more lectures, we need more love. Because it's a problem when you can speak in tongues, but you mean in English. Or whatever native tongue that you, it's a problem when you can speak in tongues, but you can't use that same tongue to speak good things to other people. That's the problem. You discover their not yet issue, don't badmouth them, don't go behind their back. How about train them, disciple them? But people don't want to get their hands dirty because that's trench work right there.
All right, y'all, this is part 2. Let's get right into it. For context, go watch part 1. I'm going to put it in the description box. But to summarize, well, you know what? I'm going to summarize part 1. Go check it out.
They have to do with my love ability, and I will simply respond to one another. What does my patience ability have to do with my love ability? And I will simply respond to you by saying everything. Everything. Our foundational text in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4 lets us know that love is patient. I want you to see how these merge. Love is patient. Then Jesus tells us, by this all men will know that you are my disciples by the way you, what's that word? Love one another. So let's change it. By this all men will know that you're my disciples by how patient you are. Yeah, all men will know that you are really a Christ follower due to your patience, due to your ability to not keep a record of wrong, due to your trust, due to your perseverance. By this, all men will know that you're my disciples by the way we love one another. And since our litmus test of love is really tied to if I'm really a Christ follower, I have to love people. If I'm really a Christ follower, I have to be patient with people. This is a needed discussion because there's so much content and there's so much information about praying for a future spouse or waiting to be found or God sent and counterfeit.
That was a very interesting point that he brought up, that patience is one of the litmus tests of a true Christ follower. And I see how he tied this into John, forgot the thing already. I think it was John 13:35 where he said, by this all men will know that you are mine by the way that you love one another. So this is that was a good point.
Future spouse or waiting to be found or God sent and counterfeit. And there's so much intel praying about that, but we need more messages that implore us to increase our patience meter, because the impatient heart cannot be the loving heart. Did you hear what I just said? An impatient heart cannot be a loving heart. This is countercultural preaching, y'all. This is countercultural preaching because the era that we live in and the society that we live in is all about your cutoff game. My cutoff game's strong. I'll cut a heifer off real quick. Somebody talk to me some type of way, I'll cut people off. We even hear sermons and pastors preaching messages about cutting people off. And my problem is, how is it we have a stronger cutoff game, but we're not as strong with extending grace? So I need to be able to identify in this cutoff game culture, and your cutoff game is strong. What if this is somebody that you're supposed to love through? And I understand the famine of this reality and of this kingdom principle is why I believe most marriages and relationships go short-lived, because we haven't been taught, we haven't been trained, nor discipled that love is patient. And people should be able to tell how much of a Christ follower you are by your patience ability. Okay?
Sidebar. This just came to my mind. The lack of teaching will inevitably bring or breed increased failure, or the likely chance of failure going up. I'll say that one more time. The lack of teaching increases the chances, or it breeds the likelihood of failure going up.
Okay? So now I think we have to ask ourselves this question. Do you have any stick-to-itness? Christians should be the last one to fold. We never fold. If you don't know what fold means, it's like a millennial terminology, and Generation Z terminology is I don't give up. We should be the last ones to throw in the towel, the last ones to fold, the last one to look for an exit, the last one to quit, because we have been wired to long suffer. And now I think the quintessential question is, especially for those of us who claim to be Christ followers, and if you're married or you claim to be in love and want love, is do you have the ability to love beyond the not yet? I just think God gave me this definition. Patience is the ability to survive the not yet.
Man, just think about it. We know that you shouldn't rush the process and take out the food premature before it's fully cooked or fully done, because that's going to increase likelihood of you getting food poisoning, food sickening, and stuff like that. So just tie this in to you waiting and being patient with other people, like he's explaining right now.
Patience is the ability, please hear me. Patience is the ability to survive the not yet. Has their credit score improved? Not yet. Has your prayer come into fruition? Not yet. Do you see any evidence that God really told you that? Not yet. Have they started putting the lid back on the toothpaste? Not yet. Have they started cleaning up their bed like you told your child to? Not yet. Have they got over the insecurity? Not yet. The doubt? Not yet. The suicidal thoughts? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's the not yets. And can you live in the midst of not yets? And do you have enough discernment to be able to discern this not yet is a red flag, or this not yet means I need to extend my grace?
Sermon, that's what it all comes down to. But the not yet of those examples you just brought up, it goes back to just knowing that life is an ongoing process. You don't win at life in a single year, because it keeps going. So that we learn along the way by the grace of God.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. So he's saying, I need you to go out and represent me. I need you to go out and tell other people about me. I need you to go out and make me look good. If you didn't know, I want you to know on tonight, you are a kingdom representative. You are a billboard that shows off the glory of God. He says, I need you to go out and I need you to make me look good, because somebody's transformation, please hear me, somebody's transformation is directly connected to your ability to see beyond the not yet. Somebody's transformation is connected to your ability and my ability to see beyond the not yet. Somebody's deliverance is tied to your obedience. Woo! Somebody's deliverance is tied to your obedience. But do you have the grace capacity to help disciple a person who's never been discipled, and overlook and be patient when you encounter their many not yets?
Another point that I would add to this is, think of it as, okay, we know that Paul was a spiritual father to Timothy in the Bible. So just imagine, picture this. Imagine what would have happened if Paul was impatient with Timothy. So now let's modernize it. We know that there are some spiritual fathers and spiritual mothers out there. We know elders to the younger people and younger generation and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So imagine what would happen if these spiritual fathers, spiritual mothers, and elders would give up on the people that they're currently discipling. Like, imagine what that would do to them. So to summarize, what I'm saying is that we know that your obedience, like you said, your obedience is tied to someone's transformation. What if your obedience is to be patient with someone that you're helping, discipling?
I just firmly believe we don't need more lectures, we need more love. Because it's a problem when you can speak in tongues but you mean in English, or whatever native tongue that you. It's a problem when you can speak in tongues but you can't use that same tongue to speak good things to other people. That's the problem. You discover their not yet issue, don't badmouth them, don't go behind their back. How about train them, disciple them? But people don't want to get their hands dirty, because that's trench work right there. Then you don't get a title for that right there. You're not in the spotlight for that right there. That's in the trenches, that's in the mud, that's when it's dirty, that's life on life, but that's the work of the Great Commission. Don't badmouth them. Why you talking behind their back? They might just need you to train them.
If there was no trench work for these football dynasties, Patriots, the would-be Seahawks, but I'm gonna talk about that. Imagine if those teams never did the trench work. Imagine if those teams were never patient with each other during that time. They more than likely they would not have been a dynasty if that was not happening. If that was to not happen. So this is why it's important to be in the trenches with other people when they're going through certain processes.
To show them the light. And do you have the patience to do that? You know why I believe people talk behind your back? I got a few reasons. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
I believe, number one, or A, the reason people talk behind your back is when they can't reach your level. They can't reach your level. They can't stand a light that they can't eclipse. And since they can't reach your level, they talk behind your back. B, the reason I believe people talk behind your back is when they don't have what you have. So they have an envy issue, so now they're going to badmouth you because they don't have what you have, nor can they reach your level. See, I believe the reason people talk behind your back is because they took offense instead of taking notes. Listen, I need you to get this. I need you to get this. This is the methodology of God. Whenever God is getting ready to take you to a next level, he always drops next level in front of you. Did you hear what I just said? When God's getting ready to take you to another level, he drops next level in front of you for the purpose of you to take notes, not take offense. And you could be jealous about the very person that God is trying to show you a paradigm of what next level looks like. Because God has a way of showing you what's yours before it's yours. You don't believe me? Ask David. He had to be in a palace when somebody else was wearing a crown when he was anointed to be king. This was the palace that he would be king in, but God showed him what was his before it was his.
All right. On the topic of this, it all comes down to your perspective about everything and how you perceive something. This is how there's two people. Watch where I'm going. Two people, they look at a post, that same post on Instagram, social media, or YouTube to watch a video. Two people, they see the same thing from the same content creator. But one person sees this content creator and they get jealous, but the other person sees this content creator and gets motivated, and they start taking notes, like he said. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to how you perceive, say, a thing of like what you're looking at. Like he said, God will sometimes he will place people in front of you for you to take notes and not take offense.
Same thing with Ruth. She was begging in a field that was hers. And you got to get this, that God will show you next level to show you this is what it takes for the next level. This is what you're going to be doing at the next level. Don't get jealous, get inspired.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. D, the reason I believe people talk behind your back is because they don't have patience. They lack patience. They don't have the patience to help you turn your not yet into a I used to.
Go figure.
Every Christian should have a used to, not a still do. Not a still do. And the transformation work is when we have many used tos, not many still do's. And the reason people talk behind your back is because they have a still do themselves, and they don't want to help train you to get your still do to be a used to. So since they don't have the capacity to see beyond your not yet because of all their not yets, they badmouth you. All right. And E, the reason I believe people talk behind your back is because they tried to copy you but can't. You can fake a lot of things, but you can't fake oil.
And just to add to that, everybody isn't the same. Everybody does not have the same purpose. So you can try to be Tom Brady, but nobody can be Tom Brady like Tom Brady can be Tom Brady. You can try to be Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, but you don't know how to be Patrick Mahomes like Patrick Mahomes know how to be Patrick Mahomes. Excuse me. And then another person doesn't know how to be you like you know how to be you. So in favor, not favoritism, but all in all, you can't fake. You can't fake it. You can't fake your oil.
You can fake a lot of things, but you can't fake oil. And sometimes they have so much to say because they're not an oil carrier themselves. I've never been hated on by another oil carrier. Just maybe your breakthrough, maybe your miracle is on the other side of your patience.
This literally ties into Galatians 6:9. Man, like it's nothing else to add to that. It ties into it.
Just maybe the very thing that you're asking God to do is on the other side of your obedience and on the other side of your patience.
Food for thought. What if in a season of life you being obedient to God looks like you being patient, not only with other people, but also being patient with yourself?
Maybe you don't need a different spouse. I'm about to get in trouble. Maybe you don't need a different spouse. Maybe you don't need a different career. Maybe you don't even need a different church. Maybe you don't need a different community. You don't even need a different small group. What you need is a different word, and that word is patience. Patience. We're so quick to label, they did this, and this they problem, and they did this, and I can't stand this, and maybe you need a different word, patience. What is on the other side of your patience? Can I get everybody to say other side? I feel like Adele. The other side of this. There's something on the other side. You'll never say hello to the other side if you don't ever say goodbye to this current side.
All right, this is a perfect ending spot right here. So let's gonna this is gonna conclude part two. Part three, come right up.